Welcome back guys to another video by Emotion. Today we'll be talking about One Piece chapter 1165, and now before we move on to the chapter review, I would like to request every one of you watching to subscribe to our channel Emotion and share this video with your fellow One Piece fans and like the video to help out our channel with the algorithm system. Now with that out of the way, let's get back onto the main video. So this chapter of One Piece starts with the fight between Roger and Garp versus Rocks, where we see that Roger and Garp were trying the level best in order to bring down Rocks, but they were not able to do that because of Rocks' regeneration ability as well as his powerful haki. See many pages of them clashing with each other, but the outcome of that was very simple, that Rocks was not getting defeated by them at this point of time. The fight was so epic that it split the sky open, and we see that phenomenon where two extremely strong haki users clash with each other. In this case it was Roger versus Rocks. We see a combo attack of Garp and Roger where Garp hold the foot of Rocks and then flip him around, and Roger hit Rocks with all his might onto his foreface. We also saw Garp doing the most Garp thing, that is punching Rocks right into the nose. As this fight was going on, we see what happens in the background. It is all the members of the Rocks Pirate are disbanding and going their own separate ways. We see that Gloriosa join the Roger Pirates after asking Gaban that if she could board in or not. And we see Shiki flying away with a huge ton of treasure, probably worth billions and billions of berries. Until this day in One Piece, we have not found anything related to Shiki after this. I'm a really big Shiki fan and I really want to see what Shiki could actually do in a fight, and we have not seen anything substantial from him. Then up we see that Whitebeard was asked to join a crew by a pretty familiar face. That was probably Marco's father, because at this point Marco would be a baby, and we see this character also kicking Silver Axe at a point of time during the God Valley flashback. So it is probably Marco's father or someone related to Marco. Because we don't know who this person is, we'll just call him Variable X at this point. It is also very nice to see that Variable X is going to be connected to Whitebeard in the future, as Whitebeard only needs a big family who loves him a lot and who he also loves in return. And this could be the beginning of the creation of Whitebeard's family. We still don't know if Variable X also holds the Phoenix fruit just like Marco, but we know that the Phoenix actually have a very good lore of reincarnation, so it could be that Marco's father aka Variable X hold that fruit for a very long time, and then when he died the fruit became a regenerated devil fruit or a reincarnated devil fruit that was given to Marco after his father's death. We also see that Linlin and Kaido were talking about a lifelong debt that Linlin was ordering Kaido to follow, but Kaido was like, no mate, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to start my own crew because I'm a big old dragon now. We also see that Stussy was very worried where Whitebeard was and was actually running around the whole island trying to find him. Then she ran into Ganzui, asked him where he was, and then Ganzui replied that he doesn't care about anything anymore, and probably this is the time when she joined Mads. So maybe she find Whitebeard, or maybe she just rode out of the island and found Vegapunk or the other mad scientists to create a foundation of Mads. Then we see our four-armed gunslinger aka Gilbaster, who has a quite interesting ghost-like figure following him that looks very similar to the ghosts that are being followed by Parona, and it could indicate that what Parona's devil fruit is, it was held by Gilbaster before her. Now we know that Captain John was the previous user of the magnet fruit that is in current day hold and used by Captain Eustace Kid, and then Ganzui hold the bomb fruit that is in current day hold and used by Mr. 5, and finally Gilbaster was the one to hold Parona's devil fruit at that point of time during God Valley. Now we cut back to the Oro Jackson, where we find out that both Gaban and Rayleigh went out to God Valley to help or find where Roger actually is. Then right after that we saw that Saturn is also moving away from the island in a world government ship, and if we look closely into his eyes we could see that he's still being possessed by Emu at this point of time. And then he told everyone in the world government ship that this island of God Valley never existed. This is kind of like Ohara, that Ohara actually never existed in the timeline according to the world government, but it still exists as an island, but it is completely destroyed at this point. We could see that Vegapunk as well as Dragon visited Ohara after being obliterated by the world government. So as many people thought that Emu would use his sky weapon in order to erase God Valley, probably this is not the case, and God Valley probably still exists somewhere in the world of One Piece. Then we cut back to the fight, the main bread and butter of the whole chapter, that is Rocks versus Roger and Garp. This is the point where Roger asks Garp to join his crew, but Garp replied that if he leaves the marine or defects, who is going to protect the marines at this point? The starting of this conversation was that Roger told Garp that if he agrees or not, that the person, aka Saturn, what he did to Rocks was nowhere near justice and what justice uphold for marines. And Garp, although he did agree to that point, but he did not join Roger's crew in order to save the marines, probably from that spidery demon thing, or maybe he just wanted to stay with the marines because there is a lot of good things that the marines do in this world, but still they are a lot corrupted from the inside, and Garp probably did not look into those corruptions but look into the small helping deeds that the marine preferred to help a lot of people in many of the islands. And finally we have the big attack from Roger as well as Garp, probably their strongest attack we have seen till this date, and probably the strongest attack we will see in the whole One Piece era. And before that we just have a small funny scene where Roger was trying to do maths in order to defeat Rocks, but both of them come to the conclusion that we have to hit Rocks as hard as we can in order to bring him down. So both of them charged their attacks. Roger is swinging his sword by just one hand, which is kind of interesting because I don't think it is possible to actually swing a cutlass sword in one hand in real life physics, but it is One Piece world, so anything can be possible. So they both charge up their attack and we see a huge explosion that turned Rocks to rubbles, but he could probably still regenerate because he was not yet killed at this point, but did not see how Rocks ended at this point. And the narrator says the whole God Valley incident was kept a very long secret. The participant and anything related to that was never known. I think the reason why Gaban and Rayleigh were hurrying up to Roger because it is the point of time where they all exhausted all of their haki, and Gaban and Rayleigh would be the person to rescue out Garp and Roger from that island where Rocks probably would not be able to regenerate and will die in God Valley. So that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you all liked this video, so please be sure to hit that like button. This really helps us out with the YouTube algorithm, and please subscribe to our channel Animotion and share this video with all of your fellow One Piece as well as anime fans. That is it. I'm out. Peace.